Hey there, welcome to my channel where I take you on tours of tiny and alternative homes. Today we're taking a tour of an adorable homemade truck bed tiny house that was built using reclaimed materials for under $4,000. And we're gonna meet the couple who built it and has been living full-time in this truck bed tiny house for over 2.5 years. Before we get started, make sure that you're subscribed and that you hit the notification bell so that you know every single time I publish a new video.
Hi, I'm Shane.
I'm Kelsey, and this is Dixie.
And we're Love Hut for Life. We wanted to do something weird. It was just time to do something fun in life. We wanted to see all 50 states one year, which is an ambitious goal for anyone traveling the country.
So we already had a truck, so I drew the Love Hut on like some grid paper, and we started building 3 days later.
Yeah, there was no planning. There was none whatsoever. It was fly by screw. There wasn't really a lot of information out there about building something like this. Every bit of it we made up.
It was 43 days of very, very hard work.
My neighbor rolls over with this sliding rotator and it picks the house up, and he sits it in the back of the truck for us with this thing.
I was just having a panic attack after putting so much effort into this thing to see it swinging in the air. And I was like, I know this guy's doing us a favor, so I'm gonna go inside so he can't hear me screaming as I'm watching it.
Once it was on that truck, we threw all of our gear inside and drove out. It was within a few hours we were out of there.
Under $5,000 has been invested into the rig, but the original build, we kept it under $4,000. It was like $3,900 something.
We had a lot of free stuff. I did a lot of dumpster diving. We spent as little as possible, anything free we could find. There was a place next to the bar I was working at that was pulling these awesome pine pallets out of dry storage, but we just tore them down. And that was the idea of using pallet wood to finish everything. Coming out here was an awakening. There's a lot of people that need help. They need someone they can trust, someone that can help them repair their rig or turn it into what they actually want it to be versus the best that they could do, because maybe they couldn't get to that point that they're dreaming up, and they needed someone to listen to them. That is how we've been supporting ourselves since we've been on the road, is helping the nomadic community, and that's a lot of fun for me. I help others and build whatever needs to be built.
We have been on the road for 851 days.
We meet these people, like someone working at a gas station, and they've never left that town. The idea that we have been across the country 3 times blows their mind sometimes.
I think that it is hard for anyone who knew us before to look at us now and not see the vast difference, not realize that we are very much happier and healthier now than we've ever been.
This is the Love Hut. The house and the truck are rather independent from each other. All of this is just strapped into the back of the truck, and we went with that design in hopes that if something were to mechanically happen with the truck, we could trade it out for something else, and it wouldn't be an end-all versus like a bus or a box truck where you're kind of stuck with it all in one package. The truck itself is a 2015 Chevy Silverado with a 6.0 liter gasoline motor in it. It's rear-wheel drive instead of four-wheel drive. The four-wheel drive option costs you hundreds of pounds of cargo, and we were already pushing our limits. To be honest, we haven't actually weighed it. I can't tell you exactly how much it weighs. I did the math on the lumber when we first built it, so I'm comfortable where it sits. I do run an air suspension underneath it to help combat the inevitable tilting of it going back and forth as we're traveling around. As far as height goes, we are about 12'10", so we round up to 13 even. And that allows for us to not come too close to hitting some sort of obstacle. These horns are a gift. A lot of things on this rig are all gifts from somebody, a close friend of ours. We'd been making jokes about finding some big horns like Boss Hog off of Dukes of Hazzard, and he found these in a thrift shop, so he brought them back and we bolted them to the front of the truck. Like, it's nice having a memory. Every time I look at them, I think of my friend. The windows in the Love Hut are a bit different. A lot of people ask about driving down the road with a piece of glass at the front. It's not actually glass, it was a whole sheet of plastic, and we got it cut to dimension, and we were able to put windows all the way around the house for almost no weight, and it allows a lot of natural light coming in. Combined on the house, we actually have 6 windows. As far as conducting heat and cold through these windows, it's awful. It's not a design I would go with. I would do something else. But in the idea of moving around quickly and just being able to let light in, it was a great solution to the problem. But longevity speaking, not so much. The roof on the Love Hut is very unique. We came across a technique called poor man's fiberglass, and you basically use latex, cloth, and glue to form a membrane across your roof. So our roof is all plywood with that membrane over the top. Covered it in elastomeric over our time on the road. We also have solar panels strapped to the top at opposing angles, which in the beginning served enough purpose to keep the battery sort of charged. It's where we wanted to put them. But now we've added 2 more huge panels on the flat section. The exterior is beadboard. We used it to cover whole sections. And then the insulation, we repurposed some fiberglass insulation, which is not ideal when you're doing this type of conversion. You don't want to use fiberglass, but it's what we had, and once again, it suited our needs at the moment. If you look at the corners of the house, it's supported by a jacking system. These were a DIY version. The strapping for the house is numerous places, but you've noticed these 2 here. They go through the frame rails. There's also turnbuckles holding it down, holding the front up as support arms. We basically used a bunch of scrap metal that was laying around, welded up this contraption so it bolts to the running boards, and this is bolted to the bottom of the house, and it just allows for support up here. To suit our needs, having to take a shower outside, a lot of times we're so remote that a covering is really not necessary, but every once in a while we are camped around other people. So we have a water source that comes out of the house, and we can direct connect a shower head to it, or we can connect a propane water heater out here and shower either in the tent or wherever. So the back of the house has a lot to look at. We use a battery operated light up top outside to give you that homey feeling. It runs off of solar. We put 2 signs up top, and the signs are our state flags. So one is Texas and one is Alabama. And it has served a great purpose on the road, and that's we meet people from our home states when we're all over, because you see those state flags, and a lot of times you don't know a lot of state flags, but you always know you're on. So you get to meet a neighbor sometimes. Our fridge is a little unique. We decided to not go with a 12-volt option because we were only going to be on the road for a year. I managed to locate an old school poly cooler, and they're basically foam all the way around versus a lot of dead space. And we insulated about 6 inches all the way around this cooler, and we're able to hold ice for about 6 days. We also built in storage underneath, so the floor of the interior is here. Everything below, there's a storage drawer that comes out, and we can store our jacks as well as propane cooking stoves and anything else I can fit in there. Having what I know as a Dutch door, this door is actually 2.0 for what we had here. Originally it was one single piece of plywood that we kind of hodgepodge together, but this one we put a little more thought into. It's actually one piece of 3/4 inch plywood doubled up, because it's such a small size. Buying a real door and cutting it down just wasn't really economic. And the window is a piece of art we got from a flea market, and we just put plastic over it to create a window out of it. Come on inside.
As you can tell, it's pretty big in here. Everything was definitely built around Shane, and him being a rather large guy, which means there's tons of space for me. It's more of a cabin feel. We wanted it to be very, very homey inside. Even though our adventure is about what's out there and experiencing all of these new things, we wanted to surround ourselves with things that made us happy and comfortable, so that we always had a place to come home to. And there's little mementos of important people in our lives. It's really just our little nook of personal items that make us feel at home wherever we go. This window, and really all of our windows, are a big part of what makes this space, having so much natural light just coming in from all angles. We like to sit here, particularly if it's cold, because we can have our diesel heater running and talk to the people who are shivering outside as we're nice and toasty sitting in here. But yeah, this is kind of a social space. We really didn't build the inside of the Love Hut to entertain people. So this allows us to still be in our house and talk to people out there, which is always really fun for me. This little corner over here has a whole lot crammed into it. We've got family pictures and loved ones here. Our map here shows everywhere that we've been, not just in the Love Hut, actually in our entire lives. So there's blue for Shane, pink for me, and then green for everywhere that we've been together, which is most of the country now. Not quite all of it, but we'll get there. This is kind of where we put some of our favorite finds on the road as far as rock hounding goes. Purple pastelite and this nice little quartz tower here. And Darlene is a new addition to the Love Hut, and we are very much hoping that we can save her. There's certainly enough flies in this lifestyle that she should never be hungry. And then up here we have Shane's skateboard. He has maybe used it a total of 5 times, but it makes for a really great hat rack. Both of us really enjoy cooking, so the kitchen area was really important to us because we weren't going to skip on our meals at all. So as much counter space as possible was really important so that we had the space needed to prepare those big meals, but we also wanted to make it multifunctional. So in here is where we keep all of our dry storage food. And then we have a 2-burner stove. We've gotten really talented at making meals on just 2 pots. That's a skill I never thought I would need in life, but I'm really grateful for it now. And then up here, we've got all of our dishes, knives, plates, bowls. So over here we have all of our personal jewelry pieces that I've made. I have been making a whole lot of jewelry on the road. Basically, it's a way for us to justify all of our rock hounding trips more than anything. But these are some of our more personal pieces. Just like with the kitchen, we wanted to double utilize anything that we could, and the staircase is a great way to do that. In our bottom step, we have a toolbox. And then in the middle step, we have all of our electrical stuff, so our inverter, any plugins that we need, easy access to our charge controller is in there. And then I'm actually sitting right now on a recliner / toilet. So when all of this comes off, we have a toilet hidden inside here as well. The bedroom, once again, was built around Shane. So for me, that means without the mattress, I can actually stand up completely in here. But it also means that there's plenty of space for storing the things that are most important to us, mainly my instruments. They're all over this room. So my djembe stays down here. We've got the didgeridoo that we harvested and created in Sedona. That one's a lot of fun. And then both of my ukuleles stay here. We have our TV here so that we can lay in bed and watch TV, although I will say that that is the most useless thing in this entire house. Everything else in here gets used more than that TV for sure. And then it also leads into this little bench area where I sit a lot and just play music and look out into the beauty of whatever is in front of us. Because we take a picture out that window every morning, we generally have it pointed towards the prettiest part of whatever camp spot we're in. So it gets utilized quite a bit. We have these deep, we call them our captain windows because it's kind of like a boat, and it actually allows for storage. So a lot of times, like, I'll throw, things right there that I need easy access to. The ceiling has worked out really well for us for the most part. The purpose was for us to reduce weight on the build because we were already getting pretty heavy, and it was one of the last things that we did. All it is just insulation shoved behind sheets. Part of living on the road is not having access to laundry facilities all the time. So there's those clothes that you put on for 10, 15 minutes or maybe a couple hours, but don't get dirty. And you want to wear them again before the next time that you hit a laundromat, which might be next month. And so we use these nets as a way to do that. So Shane's got some sweatpants in it right now, and I've got some shorts that I wore once, but that really allows us to stretch our clothes and just be more economic with how we use them. And for those clothes that are dirty and definitely need to not be seen again before the laundromat, we do have a hamper built in, so it's able to hold almost everything that is in our drawers. So when it's full, it's definitely time to go. We definitely are not trying to convince anyone that it is a good idea to build a big house on the back of your truck and travel the country in it. It was a good idea for us because it makes us genuinely happy every day.
If you're spending all of your time putting fear into doing something that would potentially make you happy because you just don't know what that means, that's a waste of your life.
There's really not enough time in life to spend it doing things that don't give you this joy.
Thanks for watching this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you soon with another tiny or alternative home.